Scenes from the resurrection are all around us. We see from Scripture that Jesus was known in ordinary things like breaking bread. And so, what does that mean for us? So many of us self isolating when we are surrounded by so much that just seems so ordinary. So, some of it's just getting old, maybe. And let's talk about that for just a second. The scripture that we're getting this from is Luke chapter 24. And in this, you find the story of the walk to Emmaus, where two disciples are on their way, likely from Jerusalem, to the village of Emmaus. And on the way, they run into who for them is a stranger. It's Jesus, but they just don't know that it's Jesus. And they talk to this man and they share this journey together. And they get to this place where the disciples invite the man to share a lodging with them. And the man, who's Jesus that they don't know, joins them. And this is where our scripture says this. Luke 24, starting at verse 28. I'm reading from the CEB. When they came to Emmaus, he acted as if he was going on ahead, but they urged him, saying, "Stay with us. It's nearly evening and the day is almost over." So Jesus went in to stay with them. After he took his seat at the table with them, he took the bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to them. Their eyes were opened and they recognized him, but Jesus disappeared from their sight. They said to each other, "Weren't our hearts on fire when he spoke to us along the road and when he explained the scriptures for us?" They got up right then and returned to Jerusalem. And just to go a little further, then the two disciples described what had happened along the road and how Jesus was known to them as he broke the bread. I think in this season, we have a really special opportunity to see Christ in the everyday and in the ordinary, in every living and tangible thing. To take a moment and to pause, to look anew at those things that have accompanied us along the journey, and to recognize Christ in them. Methodists have a really rich tradition, a ritual of being able to do this. John Wesley in 1727, he's the founder of Methodism, went from England to Savannah, Georgia, of all places, just right down the way. And there he learned from the Moravians a practice called the love feast. The love feast, or also known as an agape meal, is a really rich practice within Methodism, where you gather together in community and you show up bringing a carb. For us, this might be like sandwich bread or chips or a donut, and you bring a non-grape juice such as tea or coffee or water or pop or soda. And together in this space, in this ritual, you recall how Christ has been present with you on the journey. You're holding things that remind you of past communions. You're not participating in communion, but in the love feast, you're remembering how Christ has showed up in the past at past communions. And then in the rest of the time together in the love feast, you share together through songs and through prayer and through scripture and through testimony and sermon. And you are invited to share how Christ is present all around in the most ordinary of things. And in a love feast, it's often beyond, outside the walls of a church. And so for us in this time, the first Sunday in May, we are going to gather together by live stream, and we are going to participate in a version of a love feast where we remember where Christ has met us in the past on the journey and continues to meet us in the future. And meanwhile, where do we see Christ in the present? I invite you to like this video and in the comments to respond with where you see Christ today. It could be something incredibly simple, and yet I'm sure Christ is present there. It could be sunlight beaming in through a window, or it could be a flower, or it could be the smell of fresh cut grass. Christ, my hope for you is that today, this week, this season, you see how Christ is present in all living and tangible things. That's my hope and my prayer for you. I hope you are well. I look forward to seeing you soon.